So, Secret Invasion recently came to a close on Wednesday with its sixth and final episode. And dear God, am I glad it's over. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love the MCU and feel as if some of the criticisms about their recent movies and shows have been a little bit harsh. But I believe Secret Invasion deserves all the scrutiny it gets. I've honestly never sat there whilst watching an MCU project and thought to myself, oh my God, when is this going to end? And I'm honestly someone that can look past a lot of things, but this was downright awful. So before I get into it and start dishing out my own opinions, I just want to give a little spoiler warning. Not that I want to get too deep into spoilers, but I can't help but feel that I can't really get that point across without stepping into that territory. So, to begin, my biggest problem with Secret Invasion is probably the fact that they decided to turn it into a TV show and not a movie. To take one of the biggest and most popular storylines from the comics and to compact it all into 6 30 to 40 minute episodes, this, to me, was a very unwise decision. The plot itself is trying to focus on the storyline of the comics, which was about Skrulls secretly hiding in the shadows and impersonating some of the biggest political figures and even the heroes. But for this, they put a weird spin on the whole, oh, Fury left us for a few years and now we're just going to take over the Earth. And to me, it just really didn't sit well. The blatant disregard for the source material just ruined it. Like, how hard is it? You literally have it in front of you. It's all done for you. Just adapt it. There is no need to put this whole spin on things that's not what people enjoyed about the comics, and it's not something that people are going to enjoy about this. I also think that the very underwhelming subplot of characters that we all know and love secretly being Skrulls was so lackluster and predictable, it's pretty embarrassing. There were 2 important people that actually turned out to be Skrulls. 2. The first one being the most predictable, as I'm pretty sure people saw this coming when he just appeared out of nowhere. And we find out so quickly that he's a Skrull, it's pretty crazy. Obviously, I know that they need to hit us with a pretty big reveal in the first few episodes to try and reel us in, but damn, this guy was killed off in like the first 10 minutes. The second one, whilst being also fairly predictable, I genuinely did sit there a few times and second guess myself as to whether he was a Skrull or not. But again, it was pretty obvious that he was, as he was just acting completely different as to the last time that we saw him. The revelation of these 2 being Skrulls ultimately has no ramifications towards the future of the MCU. They're both D-list characters, and in my opinion, it just had no impact on me. And another big focus for the show is Nick Fury and the look at his personal life, which, again, don't get me wrong, was okay for the most part, as Fury is one of the biggest characters that we don't really know that much about. I'm talking more about how in other movies and TV shows that he's appeared in, we've only really seen the no-nonsense, frivolous side of him. But in this, we get to know him a little bit more, with what was made out to be some big reveal, Fury being married to a Skrull. When I saw it and thought about it, I quickly just got over it and wasn't really something I thought impacted the story. Yes, she does at one point go against him, but that was very quickly resolved and pretty quickly forgotten. We do get to see some pretty real emotions from Fury with the loss of some good friends, let's say, and I'm glad that we do at least get a bit more of a fleshed out character arc for Fury. So the story kind of just drags on until the final, but before I talk about that, I just want to go over the villain, which, if you don't know, was Gravik, a Skrull orphan who is mad at Fury for abandoning them and because of all the things Fury made him do as a child rebel of such. I will, however, give it to Ben Kingsley Adir, as he was very good at portraying someone that sees nothing but red as the result of feeling betrayed and abandoned. But I just can't help but feel like they used the same normal basic formula that they have with most other MCU villains, who wants to just take over the Earth with not really much reason to have a grudge for the humans other than Fury. And I believe if given more time to flesh out his character, he could have been one of the more relatable villains, and maybe I would have had a bit more empathy towards him. But anyway, on to the final. The lowest rated episode of the series sits at 10% on Rotten Tomatoes, and for me, just being a complete cringe fest towards the end. For a 37-minute final, it feels like this goes by in about 15 minutes. Everything was just so quickly crammed in order to just get to the big CGI fight at the end, which to me was just very cringe. So Fury brings like this little vial which contains the DNA of what he said was Captain Marvel and a few Avengers that the Skrulls had picked. And then when Gravik plugs it into like this big chamber that he stands in to get the powers, it literally lists basically every character and villain that we've seen in the MCU. So it's not just a few, and I just didn't get it. I get that the Super Skrull in the comics does gain the abilities of a lot of heroes, but this just felt so forced and it really didn't make any sense. And you may have recently seen about Gaia being the most overpowered superhero now in the MCU, and yes, that is right. Gaia impersonating Fury gets hit by the same like ray that Gravik does, and the big CGI battle commences. And throughout this fight, they throw in so many references to different characters, and I just felt like it took away from the actual narrative of the story. And so Gaia blasts a hole through Gravik, and it's called a day. Fury's name is cleared, and the few Skrull imposters that I spoke about earlier are all alive and well. Overall, there just isn't any greater repercussions on the broader MCU, and all round it's just boring to watch. Since Endgame, the quality of the MCU projects has increasingly dwindled away. Other than Guardians 3, Loki, and a bit of Moon Knight, I haven't really been excited or truly happy with the state of the MCU since Endgame. The next 10 years already having been planned out, I hope to God that they change the formula quickly. Anyway, reviews are something I've always wanted to do, and feel as if this was the best place to start. And I'm going to try and upload a lot more reviews regarding games, TV shows, and movies. If you enjoyed today's video, leave a like, comment and subscribe. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you in the next one.